First Peter chapter 3 can solve every difficult challenge that you are facing in your marriage when you are ready to follow the instructions of God. It's very powerful. First Peter chapter 3, especially when you read the amplified version, the classic, it will explain everything to you. And when you are ready to walk in those instructions, you will enjoy peace in your marriage. So for instance, if you're married to an egotistic man, a man who is very proud, he doesn't take any advice from anybody. If he wants to do something, my dear, you dare not interrupt. I mean, he will do it. He doesn't want you to even share your opinion. Then when you read, it will tell you that adapt. Okay, you need to adapt to that man so that you can be the suitable helper for that man when it comes to submission. So you adapt yourself. And I will explain that and I will give you examples. And also, if you are married to a very difficult wife, the wife is very difficult. I mean, it's very hard to make her understand whatever that you are trying to do in the house. So there is always confusion. If you are married to a very difficult woman, the Bible tells you in 1 Peter chapter 3 verse 7 that dwell with that woman with understanding. Dwell with that woman with understanding, knowing that she is a weaker vessel, so that your prayers will not be hindered. So you have to live with that woman with understanding. You have to know what to tell her, what not to tell her. You have to study her so that you will know exactly what to do, because you are living with her with understanding. As I said, no matter the challenge that you are facing in your marriage, if you will apply 1 Peter chapter 3, okay, from verse 1, if you apply the principles there, overcoming evil with good, not overcoming insult with insults, and all the attributes, the behavior, the demeanor that you need to have in order to enjoy a successful marriage, everything is right there. Especially if you read from the amplified version, the classic, it will explain everything to you. So for example, as I said, if your husband is very proud, you have already married that man. You know, God has given us the free choice to decide the man to submit to decide the woman to love. That is why I always say that there are so many things in our hearts that we are not aware. You need somebody who has a growth mindset. If you marry somebody who has a growth mindset. The person knows that he or she is not perfect, but he or she is ready to work on himself or herself to be a better person. The person accepts his or her faults, and it is ready to work on himself. It is ready to work on herself, so that both of you will live in joy. But there are some people, no matter what, they are not ready to work on themselves. They accept their negative idiosyncrasies. They accept their weaknesses, and they are not ready to work on their negative temperament. So you may be married to such a person. Does it mean that there is nothing that you can do? There is something that you can do. So for example, if the man is very proud, egotistic, it is his ego, okay, that leads him. The Bible tells you that you need to adapt to that man. You have to adapt. Okay, so for example, if maybe he comes back from work, and then you ask my husband, oh, you are always late. They say, oh, no, don't ask me that. Adapt. It means that you are not going to ask him that question anymore, because you are adapting. You are studying that man so that you will know how to live with him. Or maybe you are married to a wife. When you decide to send your mother money, when you decide to send your siblings, you want to send them some financial support, and that this woman will not even talk to you, will not even have sex with you, all because you decided to take care of your family. My dear, if you are going to give your family something, you don't have to inform her. Live with her with understanding. You don't have to inform her, because you know who she is. You know that if I tell her, there will not be peace in the house. I will not enjoy peace in my house. So you are living with her with understanding. So when you are sending money to your mother or your father or your siblings, it is something that is between you and your maker. You are not going to allow her to know, because you know that she is very difficult and she doesn't support you in supporting your family members. So as I said, when you decide to apply 1 Peter chapter 3, when you decide to apply the principles there, it will help you to enjoy peace in your marriage. So you, the wife, you will adapt so that you can be the suitable helper for that man. You have to study him and know what makes him feel respected. Okay, what makes him feel respected. Maybe when he is talking, he doesn't want you to talk back. Maybe he doesn't want you to advise him. My dear, leave him alone. Don't say that, well, when he takes the decision, it will have some negative effect on us, so I will talk about it. I will talk about whether you like it or not. I will talk about it. My dear, you are not being wise. My dear wife, you are not being wise. The Bible is telling you to adapt. So adapt to him. Know who he is, so that you will enjoy peace in your marriage. And then pray for that man. Pray for that man so that God can help him to live with you with understanding. God can help him to dwell with you with understanding, okay? So that he will be able to consider your emotions, consider your opinion, because you chose that man, my dear. You chose that man. As I said, if you are not married, be careful the person that you are settling down with. If you're not ready to submit to that man, to adapt, to be a suitable helper for that man, my dear, don't go inside. God is a wise God. Okay, if you're not here, if you're not ready to live with that woman with understanding, my dear man, okay, gentlemen, don't go in for that woman. Because when you enter that institution of marriage, God, he has already set his principles and guidelines. You have to follow them, or else you will never enjoy peace in your marriage. You will never enjoy peace in your marriage. So learn to adapt and learn to live with your wife with understanding, as I said. So go inside 1 Peter chapter 3, read from the Amplified Version, the classic, and then see how you can apply it in your marriage so that you can enjoy peace. You can enjoy, because God knows that you can marry a very difficult woman. You can marry a man who is egotistic. That is why he listed those commandments there, so that you can follow through, and it will help you when you find yourself in that pit. And if you are not married, my dear, make sure that you ask God for help, because God knows you from the inside out. He knows that if you settle down for this man, if you settle down for this woman, you are not going to enjoy your peace. You are not going to enjoy success. So, my dear, before you enter into marriage, the institution of marriage, you need God. You need his advice. You need his guidelines. Because there are some people, there are so many things inside of them, but they are not ready to work on themselves to be a better person. They are not ready to accept their weaknesses. They are not ready to do whatever that they can to submit themselves to the instructions of God. Jesus is not the head of, if you are marrying a man, listen to me. If you are marrying a man and the man's head is not Jesus, it means that the word of God is not his reference point. His reference point is his ego. His reference point is his tradition. His reference point is his friends. His reference point is his own mind and understanding. But if you are marrying a man who submits to Christ, then, my dear, he will bring his ego down, no matter how difficult it is, so that he can obey the instructions of God. Then, so that you, the woman, you can submit to such a man. You can adapt correctly. That man will listen to your advice. That man will love to know your opinion. That man will love you the way Christ loved the church. The same way, okay, it goes with the men as well. Because if you are settling down, and you are settling down with a woman who is very difficult, and she is not ready to respect you and honor you, and you are saying, well, I love her because of my feelings. Look at her body, look at her face. My dear, the face and the body, everything will fade away. You are going to live with that woman's character. So pray and ask God for help, for direction, because God knows you from the inside out. He knows the woman who will respect you and honor you. But no matter the difficulty that you have met in your marriage, I want you to know that if you apply 1 Peter chapter 3, it will help you. You will adapt to your husband, and you to the man, you will live with the woman with understanding, so that your prayers will not be hindered.